Yes, and now it is time for our headline fight. Right? We have um Johnny Walker. Right? Johnny Walker takes on Zhang Mingyang in the main event. The light heavyweights going at it. Former training partners. Say former training partners. Jean brought Johnny Walker in before his fight with Anthony Smith. So I think it was just that one camp, right? But this was the big thing. Now, it's, the rising star against the, entrenched vet, right? Because, Johnny's had a good number of fights, he's been around. Now, I picked Zhang because, we've seen Johnny get knocked out a number of times, and I think taking that year off was very helpful for him. But the way this fight opened up, it was, going how I think everyone expected this fight to go, essentially, right? Johnny, he shoots at the beginning. No touch gloves, he just shoots. It wasn't a great shot, right? Now, we've seen people shoot straight out the gate and it works, but it's always a better shot than what we had. It was, I don't know, it was a bit of a mess. So Zhang ends up on top, he stuffs it, ends up on top, and he lands some ground and pound, right? He's good at that shit. He lands some elbows, you know what I mean? Now, Johnny does get up, right? But even on the feet, John is the one landing big shots, right? And it looks like he's hurt Johnny a few times in the first round, right? The right hand, some elbows got through. Now Johnny has landed a few shots, but all the significant things are coming from Zhang Mingyang. Good movement, right? He's been doing his thing, and Johnny goes for the takedown a number of other times, and nothing works. Zhang Mingyang stuffs every single one of his takedown attempts. It is a little bit worrying. You think with all the training he's had, Johnny should have better takedowns, right? They don't have to be perfect takedowns, but just better. The setup should be better than what we were seeing. They just weren't great. Now, we go to the second round, and I think after some of the big shots that landed, it was a surprise. It was like, yo, okay. But that does mean that year off was very helpful to Johnny. Very helpful, because I think if he hadn't, he probably would have been knocked out. Because we've seen him get knocked out for lesser shots, right? So, second round, and Zhang is still doing his thing, right? Landing good shots. But it all changed. It all changed with a leg kick. A leg kick. Now, Johnny had landed some leg kicks. So Zhang, they both landed some leg kicks, but early in the second round, Johnny landed one heavy leg kick, and it seemed fine, but Zhang took a step back, and then you just see him buckle a little, right? Johnny hits another one, and Zhang goes down, right? So because he was standing at the end, I am assuming it was I forget what it's called, but the nerve on the leg. We've seen a number of people get hit there and just the leg goes numb. Right? It happened to Henry Cejudo in his second fight, I think, with Demetrius Johnson. I think it was the second fight, right? It can just shut your leg down, right? Happened to oh god, I remember a Bellator fighter against one of the Pitbull brothers. That's when it really came to notice, I feel. But I think it must have been that because, yeah, as I said, at the end of the fight, he was fine. But he could not do anything. And Johnny jumped on him and he's landing shots. You know, Zhang did an okay job for a little bit of staying safe. And you could see there was moments when he could have got to his feet because he was trying. But he goes to put weight on his leg and it's just like, nope, this ain't happening. What are you doing to me? What are you doing? So yeah, he couldn't get up. And if you can't stand up, it's only ever really gonna go one way. And Johnny continued to land shots and the referee had to call the fight. Huge win for Johnny Walker. Now, no one wants to lose. But losing like this, it wasn't because you didn't train. It wasn't because you gassed out. There wasn't any crazy reason. He just got hit in the perfect place. That's it. So you can practice those, the leg kick defense, right? Turning your leg out or in, I forget whichever way it is. You can practice that. But this was just one of them crazy ones where the kick just landed in the perfect place. It's like a liver shot, right? So I don't think John needs to, rewrite the book, anything crazy. Which is good for him. But this was definitely a needed and a big win for Johnny Walker. He won't get the title shot, right? I think a call of Jan Blachowicz, not a bad call. Not a bad call indeed. I think Blachowicz might be injured. I can't quite remember. But we will see if this fight gets made or where Johnny goes next. But yeah, big win for Johnny. And not a bad way to end this card, right? With a big finish. Not what the Chinese crowd were looking for, but hey, it starts with a bang, it ends with a bang. That's UFC Shanghai, people.